What's up, Chicago? I'm your host, Donnell Livingston, and thanks for tuning into my African American History podcast. Today, I will be telling you about someone that's famous but isn't recognized, who traveled all the way from Greenland to the North Pole. That man's name is Matthew Henson. Commander Robert E. Peary took 18 years and 9 separate attempts to reach the North Pole. Every attempt took some kind of superhuman effort because no one had ever reached the North Pole. Lots have tried, but all failed. Some men even lost their lives trying to cross the difficult terrain from Greenland to the very top of the world. On each trip, Peary faced starvation, blinding sun, and endless Arctic winters. Most people think this man is the hero, but most don't know that there is a second hero everyone seems to have forgotten about. He was with Peary on every journey to the north. He even saved Peary's life several times that made success even possible. This man's name was Matthew Henson. Matthew Henson was a black man born in Charles County, Maryland in 1867. When he was 12 years old, both his parents had died, and Henson had gone to work as a cabin boy on a merchant ship. Matthew never had a chance to attend school, but the captain of the ship taught him how to read and write. Almost 20 years later, the captain died, and Henson became a stock boy in a hat store. All Henson wanted to do was go on an adventure and have the opportunity to join in any great undertaking, but he was a black man who lived in a prejudiced white society, so there was little chance of that. 3 years later, Henson had met a man named Robert Peary. Peary was looking for a servant to accompany him on the exploration. Henson leaped at the chance to go along. Peary and Henson worked well together and became more like comrades than master and servant. When they returned to the States, Peary announced his plan to go out to the North Pole. He knew he could go alone, but didn't think Henson would want to head out to the frigid North because, he said, "After all, you are a black man. You work well in the warm, sunny climates." Henson's words turned out to be an understatement because Henson learned the life of an Eskimo. On the way there, temperatures will fall to as low as 50 to 60 degrees below zero. For the next 17 days, they will face the same dangers and not make it to the North Pole. With each trip, Peary would become more and more dependent on Henson. He saved him from falling off a cliff, saved him from a giant ox that was charging at him. Peary had given up and dropped to his knees and was going to let the ox charge right into him. Henson, with his fast reactions, grabbed his gun and fired off a shot, killing the ox. Peary also developed a severe case of frostbite in his toes, which led to him having to get them cut off to prevent gangrene. In 1909, on their 9th and final trip to the north, they finally reached their goal with 4 Eskimos and about 40 dogs. They made it all the way there, and by that time Peary was exhausted, while Henson still had reserves of energy. After taking some pictures and resting for a few hours, they took their journey back home, and after an hour, Peary collapsed with tears running down his face. He had blisters and burns on his face from the intense glare of the Arctic sun. Henson rescued Peary and dragged him on the sled for 16 days over 400 miles back to their camp. Later on, Robert Peary became a famous man, but Henson, on the other hand, didn't get any recognition simply because he was a black man. For the rest of Henson's life, he stayed in a small apartment in Harlem, the black community in New York City. For a while, he worked as a handyman in a garage. Later, he became a messenger in the United States Custom Home. Thanks for tuning into my African American History podcast. I'm your host, Donnell Livingston. Until next time, see you soon.